welcome to Hound Deer's Club. My name is Peter Rucker. I am the Director of Golf here. I've been fortunate to serve here at Hound Deer's Club for 35 years, so this has been my life and career. We are going to do a series of 5 instructional videos. We're going to go through the putt and stroke. Next we'll do the chip-in and pitch-in, followed by the full swing. We'll show you how to get out of a bunker, or sometimes it's called the sand trap. And then we'll talk about uneven lies. So a couple of general things about the game of golf is the game of golf, it's a stroke. And there are a couple of things within a stroke that are going to enable you to have success. One of them happens to be the way that we place our hands on the club. So I generally say the way we place our hands on the club other than the grip, because I think the grip implies something that it really isn't. It's nothing more than proper placement of our hands on the club. From there, we need to learn the proper sensations with our body, which is primarily building a good foundation, allowing the upper body to relax against that foundation, and being ready each time we get over the golf ball to make a stroke. Now the putt and stroke that we're talking about today happens to be the shortest of short strokes. I'm not going to get into all the ins and outs of a grip because there's so many of them out there that we'll just go ahead and assume that you have a good grip and we'll work with it. I happen to use the left hand down grip, or the cross hand grip. Happens to be used right now by Jordan Spieth, who is the best putter on the planet, so I figured, what the heck, I need to try it too. So when we place our hands on the club, it's very important that they're not too opposing, which means one turned over or one this way, but that the palms are facing each other. It's very important that we have enough give within that grip so that we can make a good stroke. The setup with the putter is primarily we want to see feet no more than shoulder width apart, but they can certainly be more narrow. I know there's a lot of good putters out there that are going relatively narrow with their stroke, but it's all about building a good foundation. From that good foundation, we should then release our upper body tension against that foundation. Now, the connective part of all of this is that we want to feel our armpits lightly against our body. That's one of our keys to consistency, that whenever we move the club, we generally want to move the club with the turn of the shoulders. And when we move the club, we want the arms to react to that movement. And with the reaction of that movement, hopefully the hands are soft enough that the club head does what it's supposed to do for us. So, all good strokes, whether it be with a putter or the driver, operate similar to this. So with the putter, we're getting our good foundation, we're letting our arms rest lightly against our body, and from there, hopefully we just turn our shoulders and the putter reacts to that motion. Now, there's 2 obvious things in the putt and stroke that we're trying to be good at. Trying to be good at distance and trying to be good at direction. And often the question comes up, well, which one is more important? So I think a lot of folks say, well, obviously it's direction, but in the long run, distance is more likely more important than direction. And the reason being, we're going to miss a lot of the putts that we typically try, particularly if they're 10 feet or more. So the real goal is to get that next one as close as possible in the event that we don't make it. And so on a 10-foot putt, if you only knocked it 1 foot straight onto the hole, yeah, it's dead on line, but it's 9 feet away. If we have good speed and we only miss it, say 6 inches right of the hole, it was good speed, then of course we have a shorter putt to make the next time. So generally what we're looking at, the first thing is that we have good distance control or good speed control. So what are some of the attributes that are going to enable us to have good speed control? For sure, the number one thing is going to be that whatever we do on the back motion, we learn to duplicate on the forward motion. So one becomes the other. So the ideal one, the backswing is a swing, and we want the swing to be generated by the shoulders. We want the body to stay still. So when you look at the great strokes on TV, particularly if you look at the gap in between the legs, you will not see any movement. That will stay very still. That's one of the things that's going to enable you to have a very calibrated motion every time, is eliminating lower body movement. But in attempting to eliminate lower body movement, what we really want to do is we want to take our shoulders against that very still lower body, swing the putter, and when we talk about swinging the putter, we're not talking about grabbing the putter with the hands and trying to stroke it forward. We're talking about, again, making the shoulders, or allowing the shoulders to have a very minor arc or a very minor turn. So when you look at a putter that is well synced with that motion, and particularly if you look at the end of the grip, often that grip will stay well centered to the body, as it is here. If you see that the grip is moving away from the body, as it is here, then that is not going to be conducive. That is not really swinging the putter. That may be trying to keep your hands too stiff. So very important that you learn the proper mechanics of any good motion. Generally is going to be the upper body making comfortable turns with relaxed arms, and with the putt and stroke, whatever we do on the back end, we duplicate on the forward end. So good speed is going to be the ability to do that on an even basis. So often when you look at somebody that's having difficulty with speed, particularly if they're trying to hit uphill, then trying to hit uphill, the error that I see is when the putter comes back slow and short, and they try to come through hard and fast. So that doesn't meet the criteria of one becomes the other. Sometimes on the downhill putts, when they're trying to hit them easily, they may come back too long and try to ease up on the stroke. So however we're trying to accumulate or to get our distance, the ideal way is whatever we do on the back end, we duplicate on the front end. So for the long putts, we have to purposefully choose to make a longer back motion, and not only that, maybe carry a little more momentum as we make the stroke. So, longer putts, more momentum, a little longer, one becomes the other. You can generate a lot of distance very easily that way. As we go to hitting the putt a bit shorter, we still want the backswing to be a swing. It's just that it's going to be a shorter swing. But again, whatever we achieve on the back motion, we undo on the forward motion. One becomes the other. That's what's going to give you good speed control. If I had the ball in my hand, I would hold the ball lightly, and then if I wanted good distance, one becomes the other. Learn how to do that and you'll have much better speed control. Now we'll go into the directional part of a good putt and stroke. And there are a couple of things that typically are going to give you a good outcome directionally. We're going to eliminate body movement, lower body movement, and we're going to learn how to motivate the putter with the turn of the shoulders. And if the putter face mimics the turn of the shoulders, then we have a very good way of moving the putter. So if you look at my putter face at this height, it goes on a minor arc, and it does something like that. If you look at it on this height, it still goes on that same minor arc, and often on TV you will hear the announcers say he's really releasing the putter head well today. So when you see the putter head being released, it's nothing more than the putter reacting with the shoulders, and it's the grip being soft enough that you can release the putter head. That's very important in becoming an effective putter. So all good alignment starts with the club face. That's true with the putter, it's true with the driver. Once you point the club face, where you would like the ball to go, we generally want to try to get our eyes over the line of the putt, and we swing the putter on a minor arc, and we make a good stroke. We'll try that again, a little less outcome this time. We swing the putter on a minor arc, and there we go. So first putt was hit way too hard. Should have done a practice putt. Okay, so when you watch the people on TV and you look at some of their commonalities in their motion, there's two huge commonalities that I would like for you to observe. One of them is after they make their stroke, they generally view their putt from their address position. So what does that mean? Well, if I'm over here getting ready to make a practice stroke and I look at the hole, I'm looking at the hole from my address position. You don't get on a practice stroke, you don't make a practice stroke by making a stroke, standing up, making another stroke, standing up. You stay in your address position. I would encourage you to do the same thing while you make your stroke in real time. The other thing that you watch the really good players do is when they stay in their address position and view their putt, they will also hold the finish. They're not really holding the finish, they simply swing it to the completion of their stroke, and then they stay in their position. Those two attributes will be much more likely to make a well-calibrated motion, primarily because you won't be moving as much. It's not all about just keeping your head down. It's not about just saying, okay, I got to keep my eye on the ball. It's about learning to have a still body that's going to operate the same on every motion. So let's see if I can do that, practice what I preach. So make a couple of practice strokes. I'm viewing what I want to do from my address position. I get over the ball, I get comfortable, I make my stroke, and there we go. Not a bad motion. Almost went in. So, take all of these tips, take them out onto the golf course, start practicing, but generally a good putt and stroke is a motion that one motion becomes the other. We have to do it with a still body, and trust that each time you make that motion, you're going to get a good outcome. So today again is the first in the series of 5. The next series will be, we'll go into the short game, which we'll do pitching and chipping. Followed from that will be the full swing. From the full swing we'll go to the bunker, and from the bunker we'll go to uneven lies. So I hope you have picked up a morsel of information during this, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you very much.